Hey everybody, this is Brett from the Prosecutors. Yesterday another creator reached out to me and we had a conversation that I wanted to share with you. This person, they wanted to put out an episode on their podcast condemning the political violence in this country. But they were hesitant. They'd seen the reaction to the video that we released after the murder of Charlie Kirk. And while most of the response was positive, there were, of course, some people who were heartbroken, disappointed, who vowed never to listen again, that sort of thing, and that's fine. But that was what this person saw. That was the reaction that they experienced, and they were afraid. What if expressing their views meant the end of their show? What if they were canceled or boycotted? What if no one ever listened again? And that's something that I understand. It's a fear that I think a lot of people in this space have whenever they talk about these important issues. And here's what I told them, and I want to share it with you because I think it's important right now, in particular, that we have these conversations. So first, the mundane. You can't please all the people all the time. Now that is a cliche because it's true. No matter what you say, no matter how innocuous you may think it is, there will always be people who don't like it. But there's something deeper there, too. The moment you try to please everyone, the moment you censure yourself to please the masses, the moment you're afraid to say what you really think, that's the moment you lose all your credibility. Your audience is smart, and the very thing that makes you special in the first place is your own mind. Audiences see that. They seek authenticity. They crave it. And they know when they are being lied to. If you change yourself to please others, you'll end up losing everyone. That is something that I deeply believe. But now for the lofty part. The history of our world is told through the stories of great men and women. That's the way it always has been. But it's made by everyday people. When Nathan Hale said to his executioners that his only regret was that he had but one life to give for his country, he became a legend. When Patrick Henry stormed, "Give me liberty or give me death," he inspired a revolution. But without the common person, whose names are lost to history, these great men and women would have only been footnotes in history. It was the common person debating in town halls, across kitchen tables, across fences, winning the hearts and minds of their neighbors, preaching from pulpits, writing letters to the editors of newspapers back when we had those things, that made the freedom we often take for granted a reality. But that freedom is a fragile thing. It's not guaranteed, even to us. It has to be passed down from generation to generation with new citizens, with everything that word entails, willing to pick up the mantle and carry it forward. We are the inheritors of a great legacy, and it is one that is rare in human history. And it was won by people willing to give everything for the simple idea that all people are born free and equal, and that the arguments for how best to move our country, our lives, our world forward are won through respectful debate, not violence. Some people marched in the streets for those ideas. Others took their fight to the ballot box. Some were beaten, some were imprisoned, some were even murdered. And the question that we have is, can we keep what they have given us? Each and every one of you is a miracle. I had this professor in college. His name is Forrest McDonald. He was a history teacher. And I had the privilege of attending his final class, the last class that he taught. And this is what he told us. Everybody in here, you're a miracle. Everything that had to come together for you to be where you are, the odds are astronomically against it. Every one of you are truly unique, and in the history of the world, there has never been anyone like you, and there will never be anyone like you ever again. You and your beliefs were shaped by your family, by your experiences, by your sufferings, your joys, by your defeats, and by your triumphs. And you have so much to offer. So I'm going to wax religious for a second here, so bear with me. So in the book of Kings, 1 Kings, there's this moment when the prophet Elijah, he's at his lowest point. He thinks that everyone in Israel, but him, essentially, have forsaken God. And so God tells him that he'll come to him. I guess he's going to give him a little bit of a pep talk. And so Elijah, he's waiting. He's waiting on God. And suddenly, there's a great storm that descends on the mountain. And it's so powerful that it actually shatters rocks on the mountainside. But God wasn't in the storm. And then after the storm, that wasn't enough. There's this mighty earthquake, shakes the whole region. But God is not in the earthquake. And then after the earthquake, there's this massive fire. But God is not in the fire. But then the prophet hears a still, small voice. And that's when he goes out to meet his God. There is nothing more powerful than your voice. Use it. Fight for what you believe. Not with violence, but with words and with reason. Argue forcefully, but always respectfully. And whatever you do, never let anyone or anything silence you. Thank you guys for listening.